Welcome to Rick's Corner, brought to you by Old School Labs, the brand I trust and the only one I put my name to. Use my code Drayson12 on the link below.
Welcome to Rick's Corner. The man, the myth, the legend. Now on with the show.
Welcome to Rick's Corner. Today I have Michael Hearn, who you've seen in probably every fitness magazine, every bodybuilding magazine, all in posters. Was with Gladiators years back, and now he's here with me, and I'm really happy about it. So Mike, let's start from day one.
Day one.
Well, not day one.
All right. I was going to say my dad, my mother, and
let's start from day 14. When you, where are you from originally?
Kirkland, Washington.
And you moved out here when? Well, let's start back then. You started training back then?
Oh, I started young. I come from a huge family.
Yeah.
I got 3 older brothers, 5 older sisters, and my dad was into weightlifting.
Yeah.
And so we come, from this huge family where, like everybody, I get my ass kicked from my older brothers, but it was really embarrassing because I got my ass kicked from my older sisters too. So I knew early on that I had to weightlift and do something more so.
Yeah.
And so I started martial arts really young, and wrestling and powerlifting really, really young.
Were you a big guy then?
I didn't start out big, no. But we had good genetics.
Yeah.
But I was skinny, ripped.
Yeah.
There was 2 things I wanted to do, growing up, and that was martial arts and powerlifting. That was it.
Powerlifting, bench press, squat, and deadlift.
Yes.
It's a good basis for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
It's all the groundwork. It's all the foundation of that.
For anything, yeah.
Yeah. I started the same way, and I think it really helped. My best bench was 455, and I was 213 in body weight. It's a good bench.
It's a good bench.
Then I ripped my tricep. Then I hurt my shoulder. And those days are gone. But I did. I actually had to document it on videos, so that was kind of cool. Then you came out here when? After that?
I got discovered in 1991. Joe Weider saw me at the Mr. Olympia, and I can't do a good Joe's voice, but son, you need to come to LA. You need to come out and see it in the magazine.
Oh,
that was good. That was good. But yeah, no, I was at the Olympia just walking around, and he goes, "Who are you?" And I'm Michael Hearn. And he goes, "You're going to be on the cover." And next thing you know, I get this plane ticket. I'm a Seattle boy, small town Kirkland, Costco, Bill Gates, Michael Hearn, not in that order. And he flew me down to, Cabo San Lucas. And we did a photo shoot. Next thing I know, the magazine comes out, and I'm on the cover, and I'm like, wow. And I'm still in Seattle.
That's hard to get.
And it was just my face.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then the next month comes out, and it's me again. And it's me and 5 girls this time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is kind of fun lifestyle.
As it should be. Okay.
So I said, he goes, I want to keep using you, want to do this, put you in a contract and everything, but you got to be down in LA. And I said, Mom, Dad, guess what? And my dad says, oh, I already know.
Yeah. He knew it was coming.
Yeah. Let's pack you up and let's get you going. And jumped in a U-Haul, drove down.
When you came down here, where did you move to?
Oh, I moved to a real plush apartment. It was 10 feet by 10 feet. And it was Anthony Robbins' apartment back in the 80s. It was. I didn't know who he was at the time, but it was it was a small little. I barely fit in this place. Yeah, it was. Yeah, they called it a bachelor.
I think we all started out with those. Then we got a bedroom because we needed that for extra events.
Yeah, it builds character. But yeah, my place was so small, but it was right there on Venice Beach.
Yeah,
and I could walk right to the Gold's Gym.
Yeah,
and started out small.
That was a nice change, huh?
Yeah, it was. It was for me. Anything to be down California and Venice.
Right. Well, this is where everything happens. I tell people that, if you want to do anything at all and be creative and be in the business and be in magazines or be what you want to do, this is the place. You can't do it anywhere else. It's not accessible. And Gold's is one of the places because there's people that come in there that you can network with that open doors and do things that you want to do.
Yeah.
It helps a lot. So you started training there, and then what transpired from that to get you out into the media?
It was quick. Because when I got here, I was already in with Joe.
Yeah.
Joe liked me, and when Joe likes somebody, it's kind of nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So him and Betty would treated me great. I'd go to lunches up there at the office and hang out with Joe and talk about the old days, which I could listen to that guy talk forever.
Oh,
the stories he has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just.
I did an hour interview with him. We went way back to when he used to take Muscle and Fitness around, called something else, in a little wagon and sell them door to door.
Oh, see, that's cool.
I know. And he gave me one of them.
The original one?
Yeah.
Because I just got it.
Yep.
Rich Gaspari came out here, and I did a little celebration party with him because he was honored at the Venice Beach.
Right, that's right.
So we all went out to dinner that night, and Joe was going to come, but he couldn't make it. But he gave us all a package, and it was the original.
Right.
I think it was like 18 cents.
Right.
For the original Muscle and Fitness.
I know, it's so cool.
I was like, wow. To me, that's cool.
Well, here's a man who started with nothing. I mean, nothing, and going door to door and built an empire. He had an eye for things. He saw you. He obviously had an eye for you and knew that it would work on the magazine. And I see that you have done like 500 magazine covers.
Yeah.
That's a lot of covers.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. It's unheard of.
Yeah, it's a mixture of health and fitness,
right,
entertainment, and also romance covers.
But still.
So
it's still a lot.
I've been on some covers.
You've been on some covers. So everybody knows your face when they see you. And so you started training there, and Joe got you, and you started using in the magazines. Yeah. And then, were you doing mixed martial arts then too?
Yeah, I never stopped. I never stopped athletics in that sense because of the fact that it's just, I guess you could say I'm just one of those kids that believes in the high school mentality of I like first period, second period.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, I never wanted to be one-dimensional.
Yeah,
in the sense of, I didn't want to just be strong.
Right.
Or I didn't want to be just, remember the old Iron Man shows?
Of course.
They would power lift on one day, and then they would bodybuild the next day.
Right.
I never looked at this industry as you just won. But nobody said I was the smartest kid, but I believed that if you had muscle, you were strong.
Yeah.
And you find out later that's not true. But for me, I wanted it to be true. I wanted to be strong, athletic, tough, and I wanted to be a superhero.
Well, there's layers. You have to have layers. You just don't want one thing. You get peel layer back, you got something else, something else, something else. And so what you did is you added to everything and made a total package out of it. Pretty much.
I want to be a superhero.
That's the total package.
That's the total package.
So you're
with the sidekick and the dog.
And you got the dog, and I'm your sidekick today.
There we go. I like that.
So then, after you've been training there and you've been doing some covers and doing some stuff for Joe, what was the next step?
Started getting little movie gigs here and there.
Yeah.
Like Death Becomes You with Bruce Willis and Goldie Hawn.
Right.
And that just bit me in the butt. I was like, whew, I like this.
Yeah.
Goldie Hawn and Meryl Streep comes by and grabs my chest and goes, "Wow, aren't you buffed?" And I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But Bruce Willis was so cool, so I saw this whole other thing I never thought about, and theatrics and movies and stuff, and I said, oh, kind of like this too.
Yeah.
And shortly after that, I booked American Gladiators.
Right.
Which was great because getting in with those guys early on helped me out through my whole career.
I can imagine.
Yeah, because like Dan Clark, who played Nitro,
sure,
and Ray Hollett was Zap, Turbo, Laser, all these guys, and watching these guys and being the little kid, they're I could just see how they handled success, because that shit was, oh my gosh, that was huge.
It was huge, and all those guys are really good guys.
Yeah, they are.
Dan used to live right down the street from me. He's a good friend, and it's just amazing. I mean, that was the main group. That was the group that was American Gladiators. Now they moved on and on and on and on. It's not the same thing anymore,
right,
like anything else. So you did that for how many years?
I was on there for 4 years,
mm-hmm,
and then at that time, then the show got canceled. Then I went shortly after that onto a show called Battle Dome.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that was
with Gary Casper.
That's my boy.
My boy, Gary Casper. We love you, Gary Casper.
I love you. I love you.
He's a great guy.
Man hug. Isn't it great though?
Yeah.
And again, it was nice because he was someone that I could watch on that show and even learn more.
He's such a humble guy.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Jake Fury.
And it was just such a split personality.
Yeah.
Because we know him one way.
Yeah.
And he's the family, the religious, the sweet, humble guy.
He's the best friend in the world.
And then he turns it on.
On the camera, he's the different guy.
Oh yeah, he's always the bad guy, always the mean guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that's so not him.
And then he's so apologetic afterwards.
Yes. He helps up guys.
Yeah.
Sorry for kicking
I'm sorry
your ass.
I kicked your ass, but let me help you up and give you a hug.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no.
Funny.
That show was great too, and we really beat ass on that show. I mean, we tore guys' legs and arms and snatched
I was going to ask you about
biceps.
that because you have people coming up off the street and competing with you.
Yeah, on that show we actually, which was nice. We actually had like MMA fighters, ex-pro ball players, a lot of martial artists and football players, real wrestlers. We had some Olympic wrestlers that came onto the show.
Yeah.
So we were up against good competition.
Did you ever feel in yourself like, oh, I don't know about this guy, I might get hurt?
No.
Never.
Yeah, well, that's a tricky question how to say it.
Because anything can happen.
Yeah, I never thought that way. And it just might be just something that's not that bright of a guy. But I just never thought about injuries or owies or losing.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I'm the same way with a lot of things I do, but then one day I tore my quad and I said, uh-oh.
Okay, when that happens, maybe I'll switch this, but I'm still in that stage of...
I'm vulnerable to injury, so I don't want to have any more of that.
It's understandable.
So then, we were talking about wrestling. You went with WWE, or was it WWF back then?
Well, no. Originally, I was asked to... Shane McMahon saw me, and he flew out here to meet me and had a great talk with me. If you know Shane, he's a lovable guy.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and he's around my age and stuff, and so we clicked, and then they flew me out to Connecticut, and I saw the facility, which was beautiful, and then I sat down in the big room.
Yeah.
With the main man.
Yeah.
And it was like me, and I was a kid, and the whole crew came in there, and they started putting together my costume and everything, and set me up. The problem was the conflict. I was with Gladiators.
Right.
And it just was one of those times where I couldn't do both.
Right.
So it didn't work out. But years later, WCW came out.
Right.
And I went out there and did camp, which is fun.
Yeah.
Because you know these guys, wrestlers are the coolest cats.
They really are.
They're the guys, men of men. It's just
they're like
cool
a family.
Yeah. And so we went out to camp. We're all busting balls on each other. Sorry about that. But we're all just busting on each other, like, oh, a gladiator, a battle dome, and we had a great time. And so we were signing with them.
It's a different type of training.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's very aerobic and it's really, really good cardio.
Yeah.
And you learn to work with somebody.
Trust.
A lot of trust.
A lot of trust.
You put your life in their hands, and hopefully they won't drop you the wrong way. But
yeah, it's 100% with it. And that was something which helps me with stunts and stuff. But
sure.
You really, that's a complete trust kind of business because they're great athletes. I don't care what anybody says, but they go. All these guys that you see at the camps and stuff either wrestled or played ball, or they're just athletic guys,
right?
Regardless of how they look.
Right.
And the tough guys.
You have to be tough to do that. It takes a lot out of the body, and you have to be there mentally and be able to. You got to commit. You have to commit to what you do. So what happened with WCW?
They went through a process where then, at that point, they sold out to WW.
That's right.
I think it was WWF at the time.
Right. I think Shane ran that.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the video brought to you by Old School Labs. Use my discount code Drayson12 on the link below at oldschoollabs.com. Hey everyone, now you can have the Gold's Gym logo drawn by me, the artist Rick Drayson. Personalized and made out to you and signed by me to frame and put on your gym wall or wherever you see fit to do so. It's a piece of bodybuilding history. It will never be duplicated again. It's the largest selling icon t-shirt logo in the world. And I'm the guy that drew it, and I will draw it for you. Just go to my website, rickdrayson.com, and order there. You can pay through PayPal, and it'll be sent out right away. And be sure to watch Rick's Corner for all the videos on bodybuilding, nutrition, fitness, pro wrestling, and anything that suits your interests as far as getting physically fit and being the best you can be from the golden era of bodybuilding.
It's Rick Drayson. He's the equalizer, baby. See you next time.